welcome to the Twin Cities, where tonight the Pittsburgh Pirates begin a brief two-game series, interleague series, against the Minnesota Twins. The Twins were in Pittsburgh in May and swept a brief two-game set at PNC Park, so the Pirates look to return the favor in the final two games of regular season interleague play. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. And Bob, we're talking about the Pirates against the American League, and after starting out 1-4, not so great, Pirates have really played well against the junior circuit.
Yes, they have, and that in today's game is important. You got to go over there or over here as we are now and play well against the American League and have somebody that can go out there and DH and really contribute. And I think the way the Pirates roster is put together nowadays, as opposed to a few years back, it's much easier for them to compete against some of the better, bigger teams in the American League.
Our Barrel Automotive League leader stat, the stat since June the 1st for the Pirates against the American League. How about a guy who struggled mightily for a time but has really gotten things on track, and that is Pirates right fielder Gregory Polanco. He's reached base now safely in 17 straight ball games.
Well, Greg, we certainly have talked about Polanco's tools ever since he came up last year, that the ceiling for him can be very, very high. And I think he's getting to the point now that when the other team makes a mistake, and basically with him, that's elevate the ball. He's a pretty good high ball hitter for a lefty, that he makes them pay the price for it. And he has really been doing that now for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks.
We are coming your way tonight from beautiful Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the Pirates take on the Minnesota Twins. And on the mound for the Buccos, it's Charlie Morton. Looks to ground up the Twins. Coming up next. Home of the Minnesota Twins. Last time the Pirates were here, they actually played in the Metrodome. And you see Charlie Morton getting ready for his start against the Twins. And we take a look at the two starters, Mike Pelfrey for Minnesota.
No, I think that Charlie's numbers in that last start are a little misleading. Thought he pitched much better than that, had very good control. Hopefully he'll have that good control tonight, especially the curveball. And Pelfrey, he hasn't been real lucky this year, not getting a lot of wins. He's pitched better than his ERA would, or his wins and loss totals would suggest. and does a pretty good job here at Target Field. So hopefully we'll be able to figure a way to get some runs on the board to support Charlie. Sometimes runs on the road have been tough to come by this year.
And one of Pelfrey's strong starts was against the Pirates in May. We'll talk about that when we come back. First, back to the studios, Rob King, and a game break.
Brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. And by Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. Let's go Bucks.
And the Minnesota Twins will take the field here at Target Field in Minneapolis, where they are playing good baseball. The Twins here at home, 32-18, and they still have their sights set on the division, the American League Central. They are 8 games back of the Kansas City Royals. They're very much involved in the wild card chase as well. Check out the Toyota starting lineup for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who begin the day 6.5 back of the Cardinals in the Central. Gregory Polanco, Neil Walker, Andrew McCutchen, 1-2-3. McCutchen 6 for 14 lifetime against Pelfrey. Ramos Ramirez, Jung Ho Gong, Pedro Alvarez follow. Alvarez the DH. Francisco Cervelli, Travis Ishikawa, and Jeff Decker About half an hour ago, Starling Marte was scratched with some stomach issues, so he is out of the lineup, and that's why you saw Jeff Decker in there, and there you see Mike Pelfrey.
Pelfrey's numbers on the season. You see, he got an ERA under 4. You would think with a team that's been as good as the Twins, he'd have more than 5 wins this year. But a couple of games under 500.
And here is Gregory Polanco just talking about him. At the top of our telecast, a 5-game hitting streak. And we're underway with strike 1 to Polanco, hitting .243 now, and has reached base safely in 17 straight games, 19 of his last 22. A couple of strikes on Polanco. Mike Pelfrey's second start this season against the Pirates back on May the 20th. 6 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, a no decision, a game that the Twins won in 13 innings. Polanco did not start in that ball game. And the off-speed pitch missing. Pelfrey, veteran right-hander, 5 wins, 7 losses, 3.94 ERA, and off-speed missing. Former New York Met. Paul Molitor, the skipper of these Minnesota Twins, a Hall of Famer. Still 2-2.
Yeah, those prior 2 pitches down in the mid-70s velocity-wise really kind of slowed down Polanco's bat. A little slow to get around on that fastball. That's what pitchers are trying to do. Mess up your timing with changing speeds. That was a good example of that.
And line towards center field, and it's going to carry out to Hicks. Hit hard by Polanco. He carries out to the center fielder. 1 up and 1 down, underway here in Minneapolis. Check out the Honda defense. All-star second baseman Brian Dozier is on the right side with Joe Mauer. Eduardo Escobar is the shortstop. Trevor Plouffe is at third. Eddie Rosario in left. You just saw Hicks in center. Torrey Hunter, the veteran, in right. And Kurt Suzuki is the catcher. Neil Walker moves up in the lineup because of the late scratch of Starling Marte. Walker originally in the 6th hole with Alvarez hitting 7th. Cervelli 8th and Ishikawa 9th. A late adjustment for Clint Hurdle. Also, it was announced that Brent Morel refused his assignment to the minor league, so he has become a free agent. And all the moves that will happen between now and Friday, and already just a flurry of activity. You heard Rob King on the game break tell us that Jonathan Papelbon was dealt to the Washington Nationals. Big bomb dropped overnight. Troy Tulowitzki, the all-star Colorado Rockies shortstop, dealt to Toronto.
You know, Greg, I don't know if it really has anything to do with the reason, but it seems like ever since they've gone to the 2 wildcard teams, it creates this flurry of activity now with some bigger names moving almost every year. It's an exciting part of the season, I think, for the fans.
It's so funny you say that, Bob, because you hear the general manager say, well, not much is happening because teams all feel like they're in it, but yet that actually has created more, I think, of the trade activity you're talking about. There's a fly out to center. Brings up Andrew McCutchen. Rivers Casino tips to win.
Oh, hopefully McCutchen has real good numbers against Pelfrey, so I'm got my fingers crossed. That means you get at least 2 RBIs tonight. I'd like to see that happen. The best thing to do right now is get 1 with a solo home run, but hopefully that will be what happens. And Morton, we've talked about this before, really for years, about how he has to do something different with the lefties. And I think what he did last year was he's developed that breaking ball, that big kind of sweeping curveball, really helped him out against the lefties. So I think that's what you have to look at every night from Morton. What kind of command does he have of that pitch? How effective is it against the left-hand hitters? And that has a lot to do with how his night's going to go.
Well, Andrew McCutchen. This is the place, the city anyway, where he hit his first career home run. June 17th, 2009 at the old Metrodome. Hit it off of Francisco Liriano, now a teammate who will pitch tomorrow afternoon. A much different atmosphere. And you talk about night and day between where they used to play and where the last time the Pirates played the Twins, the Metrodome. There's Francisco Liriano. And this beautiful facility here.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Great ballpark. Right downtown.
Pelfrey has a 1-2-3 first inning as he strikes out Andrew McCutchen. And here comes Charlie Morton. As this lineup out there, it's Brian Dozier leading things off, then Torrey Hunter and Joe Mauer. Miguel Sano is the designated hitter. In about a month in the big leagues now. Trevor Plouffe at third. Eddie Rosario is the left fielder. Aaron Hickson center. Kurt Suzuki and Eduardo Escobar. Minnesota Twins.
Take a look at Chuck's numbers, brought to you by Hyundai. And Charlie he's just made the 11 starts because of that early stint on the DL. And the ERA has taken a little bit of a hit of late. Hopefully tonight he'll be able to work on that. His road ERA, especially because of the game I guess he had in Washington, is really up there.
Brian Dozier was 1 out of 9 in that 2-game series at PNC Park in May. That one hit was a home run. He has 21 of them for the year. 55 RBIs. And fouled off past third. 23 home runs last year for Dozier, so he's on pace to easily top that number. And once again, we see Pirate jerseys. Toward left field, Decker for the out.
Hung that breaking ball a little bit, but got away with it. goes pretty much right down the middle. See, the location is not ideal, just center of the plate, about belt high.
He has had some first inning issues, an ERA of 11.81 in the first inning.
That control we talk about so much, his early game control has been hit or miss this year. Normally after a couple innings he kind of settles into a little bit of a groove, starts throwing the ball much closer to where he's trying to, where the glove is. Basically keeping the slider, or excuse me, the curveball, the big sweeper, keeping it down and away from right-handers, and keeping that sinker at or below the knees.
11.81 in the first. After that, much better. His last start was against the Royals on the road. Torrey Hunter, 16 home runs as he has returned to the Twins. Drift out of play. 2-2 on Hunter. Joe Mauer on deck. Tomorrow he looks for a much better performance, Francisco Liriano, and that's better, striking out Torrey Hunter. 2 up and 2 down for Morton.
Yeah, that's the curveball, that breaking pitch that you like to see Morton have. A command like this, where he just puts it in the perfect spot with 2 strikes. That's what you're looking for. When we were talking about his success or non-success against left-hand hitters, when he can throw that pitch in the perfect spot with any kind of consistency, that'll help him out against these lefties.
Here's one right now.
With a lot of guys, well, with most, it's the changeup or the splitter that is that weapon that you can use against somebody that hits opposite of how you throw. But for some reason, starting last year, I could really see that it was Charlie's breaking ball that was kind of the equalizer for him, keeping those lefties a little bit more honest than he had in the past.
And last year, splits were about even. Lefties hit 243 against him, righties 252. This year, lefties over 300.
Which is more like it's been his whole career. The big change was that the curveball usage last year. The splitter or the changeup. He overthrew that one. Kind of a duck hook fastball. You know, another thing how Charlie's evolved over the years is he used to throw about 6 different pitches.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of been able to pare a lot of stuff away to where now he's got 3 basic pitches. Mainly just 2. He throws the fastball and the curveball way more than the splitter.
And this breaking pitch just does get fouled off by Mauer.
I think it's because his curveball breaks so big is why it works so well against the left-hand hitters. I mean, it really looks like it sweeps the entire plate from that. A little off the plate away to where it ends up a little off the plate inside. And then of course there's the different speed off the fastball that makes it effective.
Mauer fouls this fastball away. Joe Mauer has an 8-game hitting streak. It's the best stretch of the season for him. 32-year-old St. Paul, Minnesota native. Joe Mauer with 6 home runs and 43 RBIs. Mauer had a 13th inning home run off Antonio Bastardo. That turned out to be the game winner, the second game of that series in May. Now full count after jumping ahead of Mauer. Another foul. young fan. All right.
Oh, heck of a play. Yeah, real good play.
And he walked him. So he walks Mauer with 2 outs. Check out the defense. It's Jeff Decker out in left field. Andrew McCutcheon in center. Gregory Polanco in right. Ramos Ramirez, Jung Ho Kang on the left side. Walker Nishikawa on the right side. Cervelli catches Morton. Again, Starling Marte lifted before the game, scratched, gastritis issues. And here is Miguel Sano. First time the Pirates have seen him this season, but not the first time the Pirates had their sights set on Sano. A handful of years ago, Pirates felt like they actually were the front runners to sign the teenager out of the Dominican Republic. Pirates felt like they were actually well ahead of the game in front of the Twins and maybe 1 or 2 other teams, and they ended up kind of surprising the Pirates by signing with the Twins. Played at Double-A this season before getting promoted, and now at 60 at bats, a .283 average. Missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery. 22 years old. 6'4", 262 pounds. Blocked by Cervelli.
Sample size isn't all that large, 660 at bats, but so far, looking at his hot zones, it looks like he's a very good low ball hitter. Doesn't do much with balls up in the strike zone at all. I don't know how that's going to work out with Charlie. We'll have to wait and see. So his strength looks like it's the same as Charlie's. Oh, they're trying to go upstairs. Yeah. They must have the same thing I do.
No, come on.
I thought this was the secret stuff. On that fastball upstairs, and that's not really what Charlie does well, but he got that one up.
Come back down, runner goes. He balked.
Didn't make any difference.
Yeah, he was going to go anyway. He was going to either steal or be balked. It just takes a steal away from Mauer.
He was already halfway there. It didn't make any difference.
You don't see this too often.
Mauer's running right there.
You don't see that too often, do you?
No.
The pitcher stops.
Mauer took off way early when Charlie was still in a stretch.
Well played umpire Marvin Hudson.
That'd be a way to get under a base stealer's skin.
Yeah.
If he gets a good jump, just don't throw it.
Yep. There's the crew chief over there, Hunter Wendelstedt at third base.
It'd been funny if Charlie said, "What do I do?" What did they call the ball?
Still 2-2 on Miguel Sano. San Pedro de Macorís. They took care of Dozier and Hunter rather routinely, did Charlie Morton, but then after jumping in front of Mauer fouled off a couple of pitches, got it to 3-2 and walked, and now he's trying to put away Sano with his 26th pitch of the inning. Chop toward third, bare hand play, and on to first, but past Ishikawa, and the Twins take the lead. Aramis Ramirez, the bare hand play, and skipped it past Ishikawa, and the Twins lead it.
I think the ball was going to be there in time. I think they had him. Let's see it again and see if he. I don't know, would have been close if he could have picked it out of the dirt. And the steal of second, or the balk, whatever you want to call it, ends up giving the Twins a run.
Single E5, no RBI. Aramis Ramirez. This is 6th error of the season.
That ball only bounced inches in front of Ishikawa's glove. And that's a ball that I think that first baseman probably will pick vast majority of the time. Or wasn't that in between hop?
And now to left field, a base hit for Trevor Plouffe. And it's 1st and 3rd.
Well, you get that walk, the steal, the swinging bunt, and then now somebody hits the ball hard. Pitch count's elevated. Now is when you got to really be strong mentally out there and fight through this inning.
And an early trip to the mound for Ray Searage.
Ray was out there for a while.
Snow reaches on the infield single. No RBI as the run scored on the throwing error by Ramirez. Plouffe singles, now Eddie Rosario. Plouffe has a couple of steals in 2 attempts. Butch Davis is the first base coach. Rosario hitting .284. First pitch strike. Like Sano, a rookie. To first, and Ishikawa will make that play, but throwing error allows a run to score. Choppy bottom of the first, 1-0 Minnesota.
Tracks and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Down early to the Twins. 1-0 Minnesota. Here is Aramis Ramirez. His 3rd game with the Pirates, 0 for 7. 3rd game this go round. Strike is called on Ramirez. Overall, 241 hitter, 11 homers, and 42 RBIs. Jung Ho Kang on deck, and then it will be Pedro Alvarez against Mike Pelfrey. Ramirez, a 182 career hitter against Pelfrey. 2 out of 11. Third year with the Twins. Decent seasons with the Mets. Big right-hander. And rolling left side, shortstop Escobar throws out Ramirez. Tried any number of shortstops over there, trying to find a good fit. And so Escobar will play in this series. Hasn't worked out for Danny Santana, batting just .219. So Ramirez bounces out to start the second. Danny Santana.
The shortstop position's kind of become thin in baseball. Every position kind of goes through those ups and downs. It seems like there's a lot of teams trying to fill that position with an everyday player.
How about Tulowitzki going to Toronto for Jose Reyes? Two, offensive-minded shortstops.
I think, just from what you hear, that Tulowitzki may be a little more malleable.
Certainly expect him to settle the defense down because Reyes be erratic. Jung Ho Kang, 286 hitter.
I wonder if Reyes will even stay there. Will they now move him on somewhere else?
Could be. Johnny Cueto went to the Royals Sunday. Tulowitzki last night to Toronto. Ben Zobrist to Kansas City from Oakland. Shane Victorino went to the Angels. Kang down on strikes. 2 strikeouts for Pelfrey. Pedro Alvarez as the designated hitter. Pelfrey's given up 7 homers. .6'7" right-hander Mike Pelfrey, and a ball that misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. 9th start at home, 2.22 ERA here, 5.68 on the road. And a roller, a nice little slide play made there. Poof on the other side of the infield, throws out Alvarez. To welcome Laurel Highlands television viewers in the Donegal area. Thanks for watching and rooting on your Pittsburgh Pirates. All of us at Root Sports and the Pirates appreciate your support. Showing support with black and gold here at Target Field.
Oh, the Pirates were up, a lot of them up in that Donegal area yesterday. Up in Seven Springs.
And the clay shooting event.
I recognize that off ramp there.
Good time had by all. The charity event, clay shooting.
Beautiful
Seven
weather.
Springs.
A lot of fun. Everybody smiles.
And Bob Nutting and his dad, Ogden, his brother Bill, and some other folks, Dwayne Whitman, are here. Some sponsors. 3-1 on Aaron Hicks. Morton walked Maurer with 2 outs in the first. And he walks Hicks to start the second. We want to see your strongest fan photo. Use the hashtag #PittDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile.
Greg, so far we're seeing some inconsistencies in the control of Charlie in this game. And this has been one of the features this year, probably about half his starts. Now, if it goes the way it has, he'll scuffle a little bit for these innings, and then the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, he'll really lock in with that control. And he'll have that sinker right down at the knees. Be getting a lot of ground balls. I mean, just this last pitch right there, that tells you that his control is just not anywhere close right now. As that ball was nowhere close. He's trying to throw a sinker down in the strike zone, and it was up and in, almost hit Suzuki as he was trying to bunt. Throw to first.
Hicks has 8 steals, 11 attempts. Suzuki batting just .229. The Twins, the Pirates played them in May. They were one of the hottest teams in baseball. They went 20-7 in the month of May, including 2 wins over the Bucks. Pirates have had the best record in all of baseball since those 2 losses to the Twins, going 39-19. The Twins have played 500 balls since that series. And he misses again, and Cervelli out. Trying to settle Morton down. What's he saying there, Bob? Throw strikes.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit more than that if there's something that he sees that Charlie is not doing that he wants him to do as far as his timing of the upper body rotation, flying the shoulder open early. But during a ball game, awfully tough to fix something like that.
Might have said, hey, this guy's hit into 10 double plays. Throw some strikes and hit the ball on the ground. Well, Ramirez can't handle that cleanly. Double play ball, and his throw is wide of the bag.
Well, that is one of the things that Charlie has to always understand, that he doesn't have to be super fine with that control on the corners, but just keep the fastball down. Let the action on the sinker work for you and get some ground balls.
get the out at first. On the play, Hicks to second. And now the switch hitting shortstop, Eduardo Escobar. .246 average with 4 homers. One ball, one strike. Escobar's last 40 starts here at Target Field, hitting at about a .340 clip. And that misses low. .41 pitches. Well, he got off to such a great start, did Morton, after beginning the year on the disabled list.
His control was spectacular early on, which is what we were all waiting to see. What kind of control was he going to have? Because that was what was missing badly in spring training.
First 8 starts, he went 7-1. To the shortstop, Gong looks toward third, throws to first. 2 outs.
He might have had a shot at him, but it would have been a kind of a difficult throw. You got to make sure you get it around the runner. But then decide to take the sure out. And you can take a look and decide for yourself. See, he turns right there. He might have a chance. It's going to be a tag play, obviously. Ramirez is backing up toward the bag, so it's not really all that easy. Now, if it's 1-0, you're behind 1-0, and it's 7th, 8th inning, 9th inning, go ahead and get that guy off the bases. But early in the game, make sure you get a out. And that's what Jung Ho did.
Ball 1 on Dozier. Fly to left in the first. Runner third, 2 outs, 2nd inning, 1-0 Twins. A happy birthday wish to Dorothy Warabo of Cannonsburg. Dorothy turned 88 yesterday. 1-hop smash to Ramirez. And that takes care of Dozier and the Twins.
His Twitter Tuesday, and shortstop Jordy Mercer was our guest, and he was asked by Tom, as a coach, I try to instill love of the game. Is there any youth coach that did that for you?
My dad pretty much instilled everything that there was to instill in me. He kind of taught me the game, and I picked some stuff up from watching on TV and some, we went to different big league venues and watched some different people play. But he's the one that kind of set the tone for me and showed me the ropes.
You know what's pretty cool with that? Rick Mercer owned a company in Oklahoma, and he has since sold it to follow Jordy around to many of the ballparks and watch him play in person. So talk about living a dream. Raise your kid as his youth coach, and he makes the big leagues. Now you get to follow him.
Seismograph work for 25 years. He owned that company, Robbie. And Rick Mercer, and now following Jordy as much as he can, and certainly hoping to see Jordy back on that field before too long. Still probably maybe 3-4 weeks. Josh Harrison, maybe less than that. Cervelli, a .391 career hitter here. Two and two on Cervelli. Ishikawa to follow, then Decker. And the other way on the line, a base hit for Francisco Cervelli to start the third. Let's go back to the studios. Rob King and a State Farm game break. All right, Rob, thanks. Syndergaard versus Shields. That game in New York. Lucas Duda at his 15th home run of the year. The Mets 2 back of the Nats in the National League East. Cardinals tonight hosting the Reds. They won last night. Colton Wong grand slam. And tonight it's Mike Leake against Jaime Garcia, who comes off the disabled list. 0-0 through 3.
Colt Wong's turned into an offensive force.
Yeah, he has. Quite a little player. I don't mean that literally. You know what I mean, right, Bob?
Well,
he's not big. Yeah, didn't mean it that way.
Well, I know what you mean, because he's not a guy that you look at and say, well, this guy is going to hurt you with a home run. But he can and does.
Yeah.
Putting that ball up and in. Much more he wanted it.
Last season, pretty much a lost year for Pelfrey. Injury-riddled campaign. 15-game winner 5 years ago with the Mets. Ishikawa trying to get this inning going after the base hit by Cervelli. Keep it moving. Jeff Decker on deck. Travis Ishikawa as the interlocking fingers.
Golf grip. You see that very often.
Popped up and in left. Rosario. One away. Playing fantasy baseball, MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand.
on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today. One out in the third with Cervelli at first and the Bucks down a run. It's Jeff Decker.
Sometimes you got to watch out for the late additions to that lineup. And it'll be Decker to make that come true tonight.
Remember the great at bat he had as a pinch hitter in the 5th inning on Friday night against Max Scherzer, preceding the Polanco home run.
He's only hitting 143, but well, 1 hit, 7 at bats, but he's got a number of walks, which is kind of what you're wanting from him to get on base. He's been doing that. We draw a walk from Scherzer. That's saying something. He doesn't walk anybody.
Right. Pelfrey, 33 walks, 50 strikeouts in 105 innings. One and two on Decker. Recently up to the big leagues. July 17th, return to the Pirates from AAA Indy. Caught looking for the second out of the inning. 3 Ks for Pelfrey.
Right at the knees. One of the things, if you're going to draw a lot of walks, you got to be willing to do is take close pitches when there's 2 strikes. Sometimes the call won't go your way.
Well, Polanco lined out to center field to start the ball game. He was 1 for 6 in that series in May against the Twins. Twins are 16-10 all time in this series against the Pirates. The Bucks have lost 11 of their last 15 games to the Twins. That's hit well towards center. Hicks going back toward the warning track, nearing the wall, and makes a fine catch at the wall. Gregory Polanco lining out to deep center field. Pelfrey watches his center fielder go back and up. doing the past 3 weeks or so could be even better had it not been for some center field play. Michael Taylor made a couple of outstanding catches against Polanco over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the center fielder of the Nationals, and now Aaron Hicks on this line drive.
He's made a couple of that nice play in the first inning where he got a real good break coming in on that line drive that was hit in front of him. And a lot of the balls that Polanco hit hard are belt high, up a little bit, high ball hit. This one was down to knees away, and he drove it all the way to the center field fence.
Allegheny Health Network Supermo on the Hicks catch. Torrey Hunter struck out in the first. Former first-round pick of the Twins in 1998. 20th overall choice that year. And after a 7-year hiatus, he signed as a free agent to return to the team that brought him to the big leagues. He turned 40 July the 18th.
Let's see what it was like to play open-air baseball in Minnesota.
The catches he would make up against the baggy.
Yeah. And it is a beautiful thing to be here in the summertime.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's enjoying this.
Kirby Puckett, the all-time great Twins. And up the middle, a base hit, a ground single for Torrey Hunter. The veteran is aboard to start the third inning. Joe Mauer. That long at bat before drawing a walk in the first. He scored on the error that was charged to Aramis Ramirez. Mauer has grounded into 13 double plays. It's in the top 10 in the American League.
Offensive-minded catchers that has eventually moved.
Won a batting title as a catcher in 2006.
Tough to have those middle-of-the-lineup players be behind the plate. Can do it, but it's not easy. You're always wanting to get those guys regular rest, but do you want to take out one of your absolute best bats once every 4 or 5 days? That's what's so difficult about having a Mauer type player as a catcher. Giants have to deal with that in San Francisco with Posey. They play him at first base a little bit now. I would imagine that someday he'll be just a first baseman. Biggio, who got inducted into the Hall of Fame the other day, good example of that.
Mauer goes the other way and fouls it off.
Great offensive catcher, and they ended up moving him to second base. And now he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. We were told when the Twins were in town in May that Mauer almost exclusively was doing just what we just saw. Constantly going the other way. Players have the shift on, expecting him to pull.
He did hit a home run off as he pulled up into the stands above the committee wall. I remember that.
That was the one that won the game off Antonio Bastardo.
Not a lot of home runs on this year. Or RBIs for that matter, just 43. 358 at bats.
Still working on that 8-year, $184 million deal signed through 2018. 25% of the fly balls go to left.
25% of the ground balls go just to the right of the second base bag.
And nice backhand play, but Dunn throws it past second. And it's first and third.
Kind of crossed everybody up. He hit the ground ball the other direction. Dunn was able to get to it, but obviously a very poor throw to second base. Playing right up the middle, gets to the backhand, makes the flip, but way wide of the bag.
Fielder's choice E6. And again, just as well as the Pirates played against the Washington Nationals at home, looking a bit sloppy here on the road for the first game of this series, the start of a 6-game road trip. They'll play the Reds on Thursday night to begin a 4-game series. Miguel Sano.
So important. We've talked about this for the last few years, Greg. The infield play has to be excellent when Morton's out on the mound, because there's going to be so many important ground balls that you're going to have to turn double plays. Really, just about all the Pirates starting pitchers are dependent on the ground ball. Maybe not quite to the extent that Charlie is.
And he gets a nice strikeout there of Sano, because now a ground ball can get him out of the inning and really pick up his teammate Jung Ho Kang.
And that was a very nice breaking ball. This is, that one I was talking about earlier. The command of that sweeper, when he has that, it can be very, very, very tough.
Trevor Plouffe has hit into an American League leading 18 double plays.
The Pirates lead all of baseball in ground ball percentage, 53%. Just about everybody that goes out there throws ground balls with the Pirates.
Strike one on Trevor Plouffe. So again, 18 double plays for Plouffe. 0-2. Plouffe single to left field in the first inning off of Morton. He's hitting over 400 against Pirates pitching in his career. And to third, and dropped by Ramirez. One, and they still turn it, thanks to the strong throw by Neil Walker. That drop by Ramirez almost cost them the inning-ending double play, but they got it. It's 1-0. 18 double plays to lead the league. And the middleman, that twin killing, Neil Walker, where Chick-fil-A double play.
Nice strong throw by Walker. Plouffe, for the 19th time, fires that helmet down.
Here is Neil Walker to lead things off in the 4th against Pelfrey. Nice work by Charlie Morton. First and third, nobody out, gets the strikeout in the double play. Walker flied to center field in the first inning. He's 3 for 18 lifetime against Mike Pelfrey, and one of those hits was a 455-foot bomb in New York back in 2011 at Citi Field. Walker, McCutchen, Ramirez.
Kind of careful with Walker. The first couple of pitches well off the plate away. Must have heard about the distance of his last 2 home runs. Go along with that one you were talking about in New York.
Yeah, 3-0.
Those were way over 400 feet.
Walker's yesterday went 437 feet. 456-foot blast on Friday night. McCutchen for the home run barrage against the Nats on Thursday night as Walker draws the leadoff walk.
I don't think he saw a pitch within 7 or 8 inches of the strike zone. After that ball 4, Pelfrey walked about halfway to home plate and threw the ball to the dugout in disgust. Like, this ball's no good.
And ball 1 on McCutchen. 6 days ago, Pelfrey faced the Angels in Anaheim. Went 6 innings, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs. Gave up a home run to Chris Iannetta. Angels won it 5-2. And a fly ball to shallow center. Hicks, 1 out. Our day automotive this day in Pirates history. This day 2000, the Pirates beat the Padres 16-5. Aramis Ramirez, a big day, 3 for 4, 2 homers, 6 RBIs. Also one of 4 Pirates to score 3 times in the game. He and Jason Kendall and Kevin Young and John Vanderwall all scored 3 times in that game. On this date 15 years ago.
Seems like it's yesterday.
Yeah.
Correct?
Ramirez, a fly ball to center field. Hicks again.
Not too many people that played in Three River Stadium still on the field.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were trying to think how many of them there were, John and I.
Probably less than a handful now.
Yeah, I think we came up with like maybe 3 or 4 names. That was it. Don't ask me what they were.
I was just going to ask you.
All right, let me think again. I got to like go back to that spot. Okay.
Bronson Arroyo, he's not active.
There
he's
we
on the
were
DL.
So now we were wondering if he counted or not.
Oh,
I don't know. He hasn't played all year, right?
correct. What about Torrey Hunter? Was he one of them?
Did he play in Three Rivers?
Well, the interleague play, right?
We play the Twins? I don't know. Did Twins come to Three Rivers?
Well, the first couple of years, interleague play, I think it was Central versus Central.
Oh, yeah.
I believe.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
1997, the first year of interleague play.
Okay, boom. There's one right there.
Did you have him? Was he
No,
on your list?
I don't think he was.
So you didn't let me get involved in this little game you guys are playing.
No.
I get it.
We couldn't find you. It was yesterday.
Sure. Right. That's funny. It's funny, Tim. I mean, Bob. 2-1. John and Tim. Of course, John Wayner hit the last home run ever at Three River Stadium.
He hadn't played in a while.
And the other way for gone. A base hit to right.
Yeah, nice little piece hitting. Off-speed pitch, down away, hit it that direction. You got the hole. Bauer's holding on the runner. Pitch was supposed to be, oh, that wasn't off-speed, it was fastball. I think that was 83, not 93.
So runners at first and second for Alvarez. Hunter never played at Three River Stadium, by the way.
Oh, that's why we didn't have him on our list.
Yeah, okay.
I knew there was a reason.
Yeah, you did. Just for the fun of it, if you record this game, go back and just listen to that last sequence. It's fun. It is really fun. Bob go, oh yeah, see, there you go. There's one.
I was just trying to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Again, keep listening. Listening to Suzuki is Mike Pelfrey. Pedro Alvarez can tie the game with a hit here. Bounced into that shift. Trevor Plouffe was playing on the other side in the second inning when no one was on base. Now Plouffe has to stay on the left side. A lot of room right up the middle there for Alvarez.
Bartolo Colon.
Thanks to the Gypsies for that one.
No, I got that one on my own, Greg. Now they did just tell me correct in my ear. I'll give you that. I'm thinking about who we came up with yesterday. That was one of the answers.
Strike is called. One ball, two strikes. And you can't count guys like their closer here for a long time. Went to Detroit, Nathan. That just misses. 2-2. Right back to Pelfrey. The easy out. Pirates strand a couple. 1-0 Twins. Out for about a month, had some right forearm stiffness, got a second opinion. Dr. James Andrews last week recommending platelet-rich plasma injections to help the healing process. Also, not good news for Andrew Lambeau's rehab. He's been shut down from baseball activities, suffered a setback from plantar fasciitis, so really lost season for both. And too bad for Andrew Lambeau, because you would think he would have gotten so many opportunities this year to play for the Pirates. They would have given him every shot to get a lot of at-bats. Here is Eddie Rosario.
And when those opportunities come around, you have to hopefully be healthy and be swinging the bat well. Another thing that John and I were talking about yesterday on our drive up to Seven Springs, about how certain players, they get an opportunity and then it might come at a time where they're just not hitting, and then other guys, that opportunity comes where they're going to play every day for, say, a couple of weeks because somebody got hurt, and they have a bat that's hot at the time. People start looking at them in a different way.
3-1 pitch driven deep and off the base of the wall and past McCutchen. So now the runner's going to head to third, and he is going to make it a triple for Rosario. McCutchen got too close to the wall, and the ball went past him, so it was up to Decker. And a triple for Rosario.
I thought Decker did a nice job getting the ball to Gong. And when I saw that, I thought they had a shot at him, but the throw from Gong is just a little bit wide of the bag. You can see Ramirez having to leave and go backhand that ball and couldn't get a tag in there. Yeah, right there you can tell, Greg, that's where the ball got by McCutchen. See where he sped up in between first and second? I'll bet you the timing was, that's when he saw the ball come off the wall and decided to take it to third. Now, with one out, that'd be a no-brainer, but with nobody out, there's a couple things that are no-nos. You make the first or the last out at third base. Those are no-nos.
Two now on Hicks. Infield will concede a run, with the exception of Ramirez at third. Off of the catcher, and Morton breaks for the plate.
Martin able to get a strikeout last time in this situation, but normally he's not a big strikeout guy. Pitches to contact, tries to pitch to contact. These scenarios with a runner at third and less than 2 outs with the infield back are tough for him to get out of without giving up a run.
Two and two on Hicks. Walk leading off the second. And that'll do it. That'll bring home the run. 2-0. Hicks gets the job done. His 14th RBI.
Well, that was the situation that the Pirates were in there, with Hicks able to get the third instead of second base, that they had to go ahead and trade that run for an out. Pirates wouldn't have been able to hold him to a double. It's a different story. So many different things you can do. But at this point of the ball game, you're not going to play in on the grass with nobody out.
Polanco back toward the wall and makes a nice catch there. Polanco, and bangs up against the wall. Goes hard into that padded wall.
Yeah, fine play. Polanco, not only is the offense coming around better for Polanco, you can tell that the more experience he gets at this level, playing at these stadiums with the extra decks and all the fanfare. This is so much different than playing in minor league ballparks. He's getting comfortable playing defense in the outfield at the big league level.
And that's an unusual right field there. That the balcony that juts out over right field. Saw earlier today during batting practice, Rick Sofield, the Pirates base running and outfield instructor, was trying to show Polanco the different nuances of that.
Well, they were throwing some balls off and seeing how that it was going to bounce. It's really all the good outfielders. That's what they do when they go into a ballpark for the first time of the season. I mean, they inspect the surface, the grass, see how the ball's going to bounce. Are there any soft spots out there, sprinkler heads, anything they got to worry about? What's the ball do off the wall? All that kind of stuff.
McCutchen makes the catch. Decker goes flying behind him, and it is 2-0 Twins. You never know what's going through Betts' mind. It looked as though he could have maybe just held up. I mean, his momentum was taking him to that wall, but he decides to kind of continue his momentum and leap over the wall. That cost him not only the out, but he ended up having to leave the game. I think a sore shoulder, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It was a bizarre play. I don't know why he decided to jump over the wall.
Yeah, I saw that play also, and it looked like he actually jumped the wall on purpose for whatever reason, but didn't work out for him. Made for an exciting play.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he would just
stop, not jump over the wall.
But
now Francisco Cervelli starts the fifth. The Pirates down a pair. He has one of the two Pirates hits. Pelfrey now has pitched 10 innings against the Pirates this season, has allowed 1 run, 7 hits. Make it 8. And a 2-for-2 night for Cervelli. So this starts the 5th, and it's the 3rd straight inning. The Pirates have had their leadoff man on against Pelfrey. Travis Ishikawa flied out to left field his first time up. There's a line shot past Pelfrey. Puts runners at first and second. 2 on, nobody out. We'll see what Clint Hurdle asks Jeff Decker to do here.
And you would think that he'd ask him to move the runners up. That'd be what I'm expecting. I think the Twins will be looking for that.
Ishikawa, the line single to center.
Yeah, this was a bullet back to the middle.
Decker does bunt right toward third. Bare hand play and a high toss into right field. This brings in 1. Rick Sofield will hold the second run. Jeff Decker into second. Trevor Plouffe kind of casually tossed it well over Joe Mauer.
That's what I kind of thought, Greg. It did look like he was a little too casual about it, and not sure why he had to barehand the ball on a sacrifice bunt.
Hard bunt.
Yeah, I mean,
right at him.
You're in looking for the sacrifice to begin with. You get it nice and firm right there. There was no reason to barehand it.
Just glove it and throw it to first.
Yeah, that was.
Pirates now.
Not a good decision by him. He should have just used the glove, set his feet, threw the ball nice and firm over there, and he wouldn't be in the situation that they're in right now.
Just his 6th error of the year, and the infield will concede a run here with Polanco. The Pirates have runners at second and third, and nobody out. A 2-1 game. Corners are even with their bags. Trevor Plouffe decides to barehand on our Allegheny Health Network Supermo. Plenty of time to glove it and
barehand and make an off-balance throw.
Sacrifice E5 has the Pirates in great shape. As Cervelli scored, Ishikawa to third. There's a line drive. Oh, what a play by the shortstop Escobar. Polanco thinking, what do I have to do?
He has hit 3 balls right on the money and is 0 for 3.
Line drives by Polanco.
Now coming off his bat, is going to tail a little bit toward the shortstop, and I think that's what he needed. Does that ball move back toward him about 3 or 4 inches, maybe 6 inches? Just stay right there.
Yeah, don't change a thing.
Yeah, they'll fall.
And now Neil Walker with 1 out. And this ball will get the runner home, maybe. Here's the throw to the plate. A late decision by the runner Ishikawa. He doesn't go right away, and he is safe at the plate according to the home plate umpire Marvin Hudson. And a 2-2 game. It looked as though the throw beat him, but the safe call by Hudson.
Well, this one will definitely be looked at quite a bit by the Twins to decide what they want to do. Anytime there's a bang play at the plate, you know there'll be a little bit of a delay.
Great slide by Ishikawa.
Looked like a pretty good call to go with it. I think
it's
Ishikawa,
close, but I don't think there's anything that would overwhelmingly turn that call over.
Yeah, with that slide that got him in there.
Paul Molitor is waiting to decide whether they want to challenge or not.
I don't think they will.
It's right now 2-2, and a great slide by Ishikawa.
I mean, he might have got tagged just before the toe was there by a ½ inch, but is there anything there where you could overturn the umpire's call? I didn't see it. And
he's explaining to Molitor what they saw.
Well, Molitor, I'm sure, is looking at it, live. You think, well, the ball got there in plenty of time. How did he get his foot in there?
They will challenge it.
I'm surprised.
The overhead look.
Yeah, maybe this will have something. So that one there, I will admit, looks like there might have been a tag. But, I mean,
there's just no way you can say that you're
I mean,
overwhelming evidence.
I don't see anything where you would overturn it.
Clear evidence.
Umpires are looking up at the same replays we're looking at up on the big board.
Marvin Hudson is the home plate umpire, and the crew chief, Hunter Wendelstedt.
It's so difficult, Greg. Just
no way you can say there's evidence that would is clear. Is he clearly being tagged out before he hits the plate?
It seems to me that half the time this year I've been wrong when I guess, so I'm not even going to.
Oh, I might as well guess. Why not?
Well, I might as well guess if it's going to be heads or tails when we flip a coin.
Oh, come on.
It's the same.
Just because your call ends up being not in agreement with the umpire, it doesn't mean you're wrong. I mean, what we see there.
I'll tell you. I've already pretty much said.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't know if he was out or safe. It was that close. So why not just go with what the umpire called?
And we'll go back to what we say all the time. Exactly. That if it's this close, and you've got to spend all this time, super slow-mo, stop action, different angle. Here we go, and he is safe. Then that's the right call. They stick with it, and it's 2-2, and what a slide by Ishikawa. Well, I guess had to wait just a tad, because it was a bit of a line drive, wasn't it?
I think he might have froze a little bit, thinking, okay, is that going to be a ground ball or not, as it came off the bat. You can't tell when the glove hits the leg, because the glove is on the backside from the camera, away from the leg, so there's no way of knowing.
2-2 ball game.
To really make the system infallible, you'd almost need at least twice as many cameras than you have now.
Don't give many ideas.
I mean, you would have
Please.
to have. You'd have to have. I mean, well, I don't understand why it's not mandatory. There's a camera sitting down each foul line anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
But all these different angles you would need to actually see every play that you have to look at.
The other inconsistency of this is never going to go away. So you have better cameramen in certain areas. No disrespect to any of them, but there's some cameramen who capture, especially the super slow-mos.
Well, I think
we have at PNC Park a great crew here.
I think it's the angle.
Well, I think a combination.
No, I just think it's the angle. Because I mean,
I'll tell you what. There's a high fly ball hit to center field. Hicks has room. Decker is going to tag. He will move up as the throw comes into second.
If the ball in the tag, what you need to see is on the other side of a player or a person, then it doesn't make any difference. If you don't have cameras there, you're not ever going to see that play.
Some guys can handle the super slow-mo, like our buddy Maul at PNC Park. That we have a couple of tremendous cameramen that can do that, and then some cameramen are better than others.
But you do agree that if the play is on the other side, until they come up with an X-ray camera, it doesn't matter if it's super slow-mo or not.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's on the back side and you can't see the tag, then it doesn't matter. You have to have an angle that shows what you need to see.
Absolutely, it's both. Chopper headed up the middle. The shortstop is there to make the play, but Neil Walker's RBI ties the game at 2, heading to the bottom of the 5th. Not much help certainly from the Cardinals. They just keep winning, but that's good to see Cincinnati on top in that one. And Mike Leake allowing just 2 hits. The return of Jaime Garcia. 19 home runs now for Votto. Joey Votto's home run. Beautiful day for baseball here in Minneapolis. And a new ball game. Brian Dozier at the plate.
So far, Greg, it's been all about misplays in this game. Both teams making errors, misplays out in the field, and costing runs.
Couple of strikes on Dozier. He's flied out and hit a 1-hop smash to third. Dozier, Hunter, and Mauer against Morton here in the 5th.
Nice catch. That'll be the favorite thing about coming to the ballpark, see the youngsters get their first baseball like that. Smiles on their face.
Yeah, nothing like it, right?
Got to be a lefty, I guess.
Strike 3 called. Third K for Morton.
Dozier wanted to argue the point for a little bit. Let's take a look at a pretty good pitch.
Two and 0 on Hunter. 1 for 2. Led off the 3rd inning with a base hit. Tries this deep, but hooking. Foul. Again, Torrey Hunter did not play, though he's old enough to have played at Three Rivers Stadium. Queen Park University tweet: did Walker play at Three Rivers as a kid during high school? Would he count? Pretty good.
Don't know, may have. Man, they used to always have those Sunday games.
Yeah. And Walker's buddy Matt Cook is here, former Penguin, and the winger let go by the Minnesota Wild, who was out playing catch with Matt Cook's 2 young boys, and Cook hoping maybe to hook back with the Pens. But he is here watching the Pirates. His 2 kids decked out in Neil Walker jerseys. And Torrey Hunter draws the 1-out walk. It's number 3 for Morton. He'll face Joe Mauer. It's not been easy for Morton. Getting up the 2 runs now, as we often do with him. Had he had stronger defense, you could make an argument there would be no runs against him.
He'd be throwing a shutout.
Yeah. Of course, he didn't help his own cause when he balked Mauer to second, but Mauer would have stolen that bag anyway. But the throwing error by Ramirez, Ishikawa not able to make the pick, allowed Mauer to score in the 1st. And then Andrew McCutchen with trouble on the ball hit by Rosario, leading off the 4th, turned it from a double into a triple. Rosario able to score on a ground ball out.
One thing that could be an issue soon is the number of pitches that Morton is having to throw tonight through a whole bunch in that first inning.
And quick timeout. Cervelli out again.
There's been some talks between Cervelli and Morton tonight about, and most of them have to be about throwing strikes.
Like a coach himself back there.
Telling him, hey, get the ball down, let it work, let the movement on the baseball get you a double play ball. Does like to go the other way, and that's one way of getting that sinker, even if it's down in the air, is to try and hit the ball toward left for a left-handed hitter.
And there is Matt Cook, decked out in the Pirate jersey and Pirates cap. He sounded optimistic that he could end up back with the Penguins. Neil Walker bought Cook's place when Cook went to Minnesota, so they have become good friends. And we'll see if the Pirates can't get him and all the other Pirate fans on hand here and watching a victory against these Twins tonight. Ground ball. There is Walker. Ball takes a little hop for him. Gong to first, and they turn the double play. 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Joe Mauer hits into the Twin killing.
He was asked by Roy Todd, Jordy, have you ever asked Clint Hurdle if he would let you pitch in a ball game?
No, I haven't. Never asked him. But I think in 2012 we were in Atlanta and we were getting beat up pretty bad. And that in 2012 I didn't play very much. I would just come in and spot start or whatever. But I was basically a couple outs away from coming in the game, and that was going to be fun. I was going to enjoy it.
Well, with Jordy Mercer, that wouldn't exactly be a gimmicky type of thing. He was the closer at Oklahoma State. People don't know his background. He would play 8 innings of shortstop and then go in and close in the 9th inning. So him pitching the game, maybe not too far-fetched, Greg and Bob.
We've talked about this before. I guess position players want to pitch, pitchers want to play positions, right? Yeah. Here's Jung Ho Kang getting hit again.
All the time.
It's as if the teams in baseball decided, okay, you're still a rookie. You were a star in Korea, but we're going to send a little message. That's what it's like. Every time the Pirates play just another team, this is kind of the message they send. Maybe that wasn't as obvious as some other ones. He gets punked in the back a lot.
Yeah, I think that got him on that elbow guard. So didn't feel too bad, I hope.
There's Pedro Alvarez now. Alvarez 0 for 2. By the way, our thanks to our buddy Colin Dunlap on our radio flagship station back in Pittsburgh. He sent us a list of guys that played at Three Rivers, including Adrian Beltre.
That looks like a long list.
Yeah. Carlos Beltran. LaTroy Hawkins.
That was who I was trying to remember. LaTroy Hawkins. That was the other name I could not come up with.
Yeah, right. Okay, Ryan O'Rourke is listening in the bullpen. I couldn't think of it either.
I was close until you came up with Nathan, and then after you said Nathan, I couldn't think of anybody else. So I'm blaming it on you.
No surprise to this reporter.
Figured out a way to do it.
Ball to strike on Alvarez. And 2-1. Fastball missed. Updated. He takes over sole possession of second place behind Anthony Rizzo.
That's a good solid lead on the Pirates. And we get hit a lot.
Yeah.
We get hit a bunch. So.
He only got hit 13 times last year in Korea. The whole season. Three and 1. And that was by far the most he had been hit in his career. Before that, 4 years ago, 9 times had been his season high in terms of getting hit by pitches. But about every year in Korea, just 5 or 6 times all year. Big 3-1 pitch here to Alvarez. Should get one to drive. Or he takes in the dirt, and it's first and second as the Pirates set up shop in the 6th inning. Two on, nobody out. Join Miller Lite for a tailgate party atmosphere on the Pirates deck. For just $40, the Miller Lite 1,000 seats of summer ticket package includes your game ticket, $10 of loaded value credit good for concessions and merchandise, and a Miller Lite prize pack. Get tickets now at pirates.com/Buccos. The next Miller Lite game coming up August the 5th against the Chicago Cubs. That will be the concluding game of that 3-game series. Pirates back home this coming Monday night for 3 against the Cubs. Francisco Cervelli takes a strike. 2 for 2. Two ball game. Gong at second, Alvarez at first. And Cervelli make it a 3 for 3 night, and in doing so give the Pirates a lead.
I think he's got it in him.
One ball, one strike. Toward right, Hunter does not make the catch, but just a tremendous decoy. He fools Pedro Alvarez.
Veteran Gold Glover.
Into thinking he was going to make the catch, and he fools Alvarez on the bases to get an out at second, 1 away, and taking a hit away from Cervelli.
He threw up that glove. Really, he froze both runners. You watch, as soon as the glove goes up, they freeze right where they're at. And Gong even took a couple steps back towards second base when he put the glove up.
Torrey Hunter.
They've been doing things like that for a long time.
Yeah. Watch Hunter.
Ball's hit. He throws the glove up right there like he was going to catch it, and that made everybody freeze. And that's all he needed for the force out.
Now a double play can get Pelfrey out of it.
4-year-old showing everybody how the position's played.
You wonder, too, the other outfielders, certainly on the Twins who watch this all the time. A perennial Gold Glove player was Hunter for years. There's a little flare into left field. That's going to drop for a hit. Travis Ishikawa's second hit gives the Pirates the lead.
Ball really in on his hands. Not a bad pitch at all, but Travis able to fight it off and just a little parachute in. So that ball's inside, probably hit right about where the label is. Able to dump it out there in front of Rosario, and Rosario playing extremely deep. I wonder if where he is playing on this play. I mean, look how deep he was. Is that because of the scouting report? Because Ishikawa of late, the last couple of weeks, has been eating so many balls, fly balls out toward that warning track and over the fence in left field.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And Rosario playing way back there like you had a right-handed power hitter.
Yeah. That's going to be it for Pelfrey. Pirates have 2 on, 1 out, and now lead at 3-2. Here in the 6th inning, Mike Pelfrey is out of there, and the rookie making his 8th big league appearance is Ryan O'Rourke.
So far, so good for O'Rourke. Pretty good numbers going for him. More strikeouts than innings worked to this point. Probably a few more walks than he would like. 4 and 7 innings, not good.
And the pitching coach Neil Allen in the dugout. He gets rave reviews, Neil Allen. Unspectacular minor league numbers for O'Rourke. AA and AAA this season. AA Chattanooga, AAA Rochester combined for a 5.40 ERA.
Not a hard thrower.
Career ERA in the minor leagues of 4.09. Former 13th round pick 5 years ago. It's out in front of Decker. 0-2. Quick work of Decker.
Decker really unusual at bat for him. When you think from what we've seen of Decker, that he is very patient, knows the strike zone, and chases 2 breaking balls in a row that well down and away. Well, Polanco comes up there, and he's absolutely hit 3 bullets tonight. He's 0 for 3.
And now faces a lefty. Takes ball 1. Wow.
Kind of looks like with all these breaking balls or work throws. In fact, he's not really a hard thrower. He's probably going to end up being a matchup guy at this level, which is what they're doing here. You have Decker, Polanco, Walker in a row, so bring in a lefty for those three.
This is something else. O'Rourke's 8th big league appearance, and he's making Decker and Polanco.
Well, see, at this level, he's pitching against type of hitters that he's most likely to get out. In the minor leagues, he's having to get everybody out. And I think that's probably why you see those unspectacular numbers at the minor league level, and why he's done better up here. They put him in positions where he's most likely to succeed.
Oh. Boy,
he succeeded.
Did he ever?
To you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All. By Kenny Ross, Just Ask a Neighbor. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
It is a 3-2 Pirates lead. Now as we go to the 6th inning here at Target Field in Minneapolis. Pirates were down a couple. Going into the 5th inning, they tied it, and they took the lead in the 6th. And here is Miguel Sano. Great Twins logo there. Minnie and Paul, the 2 twins, paying tribute to the minor league teams that played here in the Twin Cities even before the Twins arrived in 1961 from Washington. Minneapolis Miners and the St. Paul Saints. 2-1 the count on Sano.
Oh,
didn't get the call. 3-1.
Nice looking curveball. Definitely where he wanted to throw it anyway, even if he didn't get the call.
And now some Point Park University tweets on Travis Ishikawa. He's been a big part of this ball game. That nice slide, that RBI single the other way. And ball 4. As the Minneapolis Millers, not the Miners, played with the St. Paul Saints for years here. Again, the Ishikawa streaming line drive, some might call it. to give the Pirates the lead, and Clint Hurdle checks in on the bullpen phone.
Well, that first hit he got was a screaming line drive.
Yeah.
Went through the middle.
Yeah.
They'll all look the same in the box score.
Jared Hughes getting ready.
Charlie looking for another one of those double play balls. Get the Plouffe up at the plate.
And you'd like to save Hughes for the 7th inning.
Well, this certainly will be the last inning. No matter what happens out there, Charlie will be over 100 pitches. And that's pretty much the rule of thumb.
And that's out of play. Charlie Morton's season high, 104 pitches. And back-to-back starts for Morton. Well, there is strikeout number 4, and 1 down in the 6th.
Sweeping curveball again. Looked like Plouffe was bothered as much by the lack of velocity as anything else there. He was way out in front of that one.
Now he faces Eddie Rosario. He got him to bounce to Ishikawa to end the 1st inning, but leading off the 4th inning, Rosario hit a ball into the left center field gap. And it caromed past Andrew McCutchen, went from a double to a triple. And he would score in a ground out. At the time, it gave the Twins a 2-0 lead. Strike 1 on Rosario. Cervelli scrambles. Sent along an early birthday wish because she's going to be going to bed soon. Marcella Findo, 1-year-old tomorrow.
Soon?
Yeah, soon. She's going to bed soon. She's going to watch another inning and she's going to bed.
She's the one. She's in bed now.
No. She's a big Bucko fan. One ball, 2 strikes. And Charlie Morton has decided to strike out the next 2 hitters rather than get the ground ball. And now he'll face Aaron Hicks.
Doing it with that hook. Got Plouffe with it. That curveball right there.
My gosh, that's as good as it gets.
That's what's made the difference last year when he brought that batting average against left-handers way down.
Now, why
was that?
It's just it just doesn't have a good feel for it this year. What do you think that is?
I just don't think his control has been as good as it was last year with it. Not all the time, as you can see in this inning. Certainly, he's throwing the ball right where he wants to, but it's not consistent as I think it was last season.
They're kind of chuckling about how good it is right now. He's out in front 0-2, and if he ends up getting Hicks, I mean, tip your cap to this guy, Charlie Morton.
He's going to strike out the side. He's going to end up striking out with a curveball.
Look at that movement on that thing.
The tail brings the fastball right back to the inside corner. When that and a sinker's elevated, it gets flat, the movement, and that's what happened there.
All right, let's see if here it comes. Here comes the curveball. And it's lined into right field, into the corner. And Sano is going to score to tie it. He was ahead with 2 strikes on Hicks, and Hicks burns him and goes to third.
I had looked down. I'm not sure
I
what
did
happened.
too.
Out in
I
the
have no
outfield.
idea.
I don't know if he bobbled it or whatever. With 2 outs, hopefully it's not a big deal that he's at third. But this proves that Hicks was watching. He saw all those curveballs, and I think he was sitting on it. Got it down and in, just dropped the head of the bat to it, drives it into the gap. Now, it looked like right there you can see that the ball was being picked up, and Hicks actually looked like he was stopped out at second. And from that point on, I'm not sure what happened, why he went to third. So right there he stopped and then decided to take off. There, now we'll see what happened. I don't know. Decided not to throw the ball for some reason. Now, if he throws it, that when they looked like he was going to the first time, then that stops him at second.
To throw the ball when Hicks was pulling into second base, and here now Jared Hughes to try and get Kurt Suzuki. Again, Polanco deciding for some reason to hold the ball. Lined at the third baseman Ramirez. Tied at 3. PFC scoreboard tied at 3. So just.
Well, watch where Jung Ho is on this play. I think this is why he didn't throw, because Jung Ho, instead of in the cutoff position to third base, he's standing on the bag. The play is not at second. Ball's down in the corner. It's a double easy for Hicks. The only play in that situation would have been a third. Now that I've said that, the difference between cutoff position and second base bag is only 12-15 feet. So Polanco's got to come up and throw the ball anyway, even if there's nobody standing right in his exact path to third. Even though Jung Ho was offline a little bit because he was over at second base, you still had to fire the ball in toward him. And then if you would have done that, then Hicks wasn't going anywhere. And I think that's what that discussion was about as Polanco came off the field.
Rick Sofield, third base coach and outfield instructor. There's Gong. Now Neil Walker tries to figure out the rookie Ryan O'Rourke, who struck out Decker and Polanco as left-handed hitters. Now Walker bats from the right side. And sure to be the last batter that this lefty faces. And a pop up to left. Easy for Rosario. Paul Molitor will be coming out. Casey Fine has been loosening in the bullpen. He has been struggling lately. We'll see if that continues with Andrew McCutchen coming to the plate.
Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Back here in Minneapolis, is that a Bob Walk photo? Yes, we love Bob Walk. That's the 88 Topps card. And I don't know what it says down below there.
It says ban the DH, which is a dangerous sign to hold here.
Yeah.
Especially considering that Molitor is their manager.
Yeah.
I mean, keep that put down. You know?
No, come on now.
And
show it proudly.
Well, people get mad at me.
That's all right.
Yeah, my picture's on it.
That's okay.
Casey Fine.
Or Fiend, I'm sorry.
Fiend?
Casey Fiend, his 31st appearance. We said he's been struggling, and a guy who's gone from a later inning pitcher to now trying to get outs here in the 7th. 5.40 ERA this month. 10 hits in 6 2/3 innings over his last 8 appearances. Oh, 2. McCutchen is 0 for 3.
Like the harder of the 2 sliders that Fiend throws. Got a kind of a short, quick one. Throws up there around 87 or so, and then a slower one that he can also run up there about 80, and then he's got that fastball.
McCutchen strikes out, 2 outs now. Make your next group outing the event of the year at PNC Park. Put together a group of 15 or more and get special discounts. And ask how you can receive one-of-a-kind experiences like access to the field at PNC Park. Find out more. Go to pirates.com/groups or call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. Monday night, the first of 3 with the Cubs. That homestand that will go through the following weekend. This weekend in Cincinnati, but next weekend against the Dodgers at PNC Park. Ramos Ramirez 0 for 3. At the moment, the Twins and the Astros are involved in the wild card. They would, if the season ended today, they'd be going. Twins, the second wild card team. Baltimore and Tampa Bay, Toronto chasing. Pirates currently own the top spot in the National League. They are 2.5 up on the Giants for the top wild card spot.
One of the things that make this trading deadline period so interesting, so many teams either in it or think they're in it. And as was proven last year, you could be the last team in. And if you get hot at the right time, go all the way.
Just missed to Ramirez. The Twins, one of just 5 teams in the American League with records better than 500 in the junior circuit. And bounce to third. Plouffe. Wide throw, but Maurer will come off the bag and tag Ramirez. It's tied at 3 going to the bottom of the 7th.
us for Twitter Tuesday. We're asked a question all of us have been wondering, and I've asked many times, what he does with Neil Walker. After a Pirates win, while the guys are mean-mugging in the outfield, those two guys are doing that. And the question was asked, Jordy, what exactly is the celebration? Salt and pepper? And who started it?
First of all, it's not salt and pepper. And second of all, we can't tell anybody because it's our secret. And I just can't do it because then it wouldn't be as good if everybody knew what we did. But it's not salt and pepper. That's not what it is. So get it out of your mind. It's not salt and pepper.
So this evidently will remain one of life's great mysteries, whatever that celebration is. I've asked it many times, and both guys said, nope, we're not revealing it to anyone. Same thing with the celebration that replaced the Z, where the guys point toward the dugout with both hands kind of out like a surfboard type of move, surfer type of move. I can't find out either because it's everybody's evidently sworn to secrecy. Greg?
Bob, what was your secret handshake or end of game celebration? What did you do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, it was pretty boring. The whole team, it was boring back then. They shook hands. It's not, I mean, it's not the Pirates that do that. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all choreographed. I think one of the teams that did the most was, you got to go to the Milwaukee Brewers about 6-7 years ago. I mean, they had something going on for every play.
There's a hard hit ball, but nicely done by Ishikawa to retire Escobar.
Nice play. That ball was ripped down there. Ishikawa able to go over there and got his whole body in front of it.
There's Brian Dozier facing Hughes. 2 hard hit balls off Jared Hughes, but he's gotten 2 outs. Suzuki lined out to end the 6th. Kurt Suzuki lined out to Ramos Ramirez, and now Escobar is retired. The ball hit to Ishikawa. No decision for Charlie Morton. 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs on 6 hits, 4 walks, struck out 5. Reds are leading the Cardinals 4-0 in the bottom of the 9th. Popped up, maybe out of play. Aroldis Chapman is out to try and save it for Mike Leake. And rumors that Chapman will be traded by Friday.
I believe them with select a few prospects.
Yeah.
Chapman, I should already know this, but I have to ask anyway. Is he
free agent at the end of the year?
Yes.
Yes.
He is. Okay. Well, maybe he might not get as much as he would otherwise.
Lined out to Gong, 2 outs. Time now for our Data Strong fan photo of the game, brought to you by T-Mobile. See what we have for you. And this from Italy. How about that? Nice, flying the Pirate colors. Francisco Cervelli would like that.
Showing that one.
This ball fouled off by Torrey Hunter.
Well, if nobody re-ups, this is going to be a very strong free agent crop for pitching. The resting offseason to see who goes where.
Johnny Cueto traded to Kansas City. David Price, he might be traded, just to name a couple. 0-2 on Hunter. Cashner, the Padres, is a free agent after this year. One and two on Hunter. Jared Hughes was playing for an AAU team when he was 12 years old, and they traveled to a little town about a half hour south of Minneapolis, and he went to a game at the Metrodome. Ground ball left side, deep short, Gun on the move, throws, and again Ishikawa cannot make the pick. It'll be a hit for Hunter. Nice try by Gun.
Well, he was able to show that he could get to that ball in the hole. And he has a very strong arm, but with neither foot on the ground, that is all arm trying to get the ball over there, as he is straight up in the air. Good effort.
Hunter aboard, and now Joe Mauer to the plate. Hunter, one stolen base. Mauer hit into a double play his last time up. He's also reached on an infield single, walked, and scored a run.
Mauer was the first pick in the nation, wasn't he? He was drafted. He was the player that was taken in front of Pryor, right?
Yep.
Pryor had all the pre-draft hype. And it turned out to be Mauer that had the long, successful career.
Pryor's career fizzled out with injuries. Terry Ryan back as the general manager after a time away. And folks wondering about, he's the one on the phone wondering about whether
I'm wondering who's
they're going to make
what team's he talking
exactly,
to. Right?
Exactly right.
It's hard to get a shot of a GM this time of year without a phone.
Yeah. In the air, deep to left, Decker back, and with some room will make the catch.
Ooh, close.
Not a ton of room left to spare. Mauer a long fly ball out, still 3-3. behind the great shots of the Allegheny Health Network Super Bowl. 3-3. First of the 2-game interleague series. And then on to Cincinnati for 4 games. Pirate fans hopeful the Bucs can scratch out a run here in the 8th inning. Jung Ho Kang 1 for 2 and has been hit by a pitch. Kang, Alvarez, and Cervelli. Mike Pelfrey, 5 1/3, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. Ryan O'Rourke retired the 3 batters he faced. Casey Fiend came on and struck out Andrew McCutchen and got Aramis Ramirez to ground out. And it's a final. The Reds shut out the Cardinals 4-0. So the Pirates need to get a W and moved within 5.5. Twins, meanwhile, trail the Royals by 8 games. Now 8.5 as the Royals beat Cleveland 2-1. Trevor Bauer went the distance in a loss. Ryan Densing is the lefty setup man for Glenn Perkins. Perkins has a couple of rough outings, a couple of blown saves in the past 3 appearances. Now Kang has worked it to 3-2 after falling behind. Reaches out a fly ball to center for Hicks. Download the MLB.com ballpark app on your mobile phone and check in next time you're at PNC Park. Free app. It personalizes your PNC Park experience with check-in offers, rewards, social media, and exclusive team content. Download the ballpark app with Google Play or the App Store on your iPhone or Android. Tied in the 8th inning with 1 away. Pedro Alvarez 0 for 2 with a walk.
Short breaking ball, just kind of backdoored it over the corner. And Pedro with a couple of long home runs of late, hoping that he's getting in one of those grooves. Be great for him to hit one here.
Lefty's hit .333 off of Fiend this season. He has given up a couple of homers. A line drive to center field. A base hit.
Definitely smoked it.
So he's aboard with 1 out. Starling Marte was scratched before the game. Gastritis. A scratch, so he's looking okay there, and maybe
pinch hit duties.
Maybe, huh? Francisco Cervelli at the plate. He's 2 for 3. Although you'd think this would be a time he might be getting ready with the lefty up and the Ishikawa on deck, and then in the hole Decker. Decker would be the obvious one
if he's available.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he's not. And the looks there in the dugout.
to the nitty gritty here. Just 5 outs left in regulation.
Trevor May joins Dunsing. Weakly hit, but perfectly placed. A base hit for Cervelli.
Threw the bat at it.
And for Cervelli, it is his 3rd hit, putting runners at 1st and 2nd.
Marching that batting average back up toward 300 territory. Put him in the upper 280s, I think. 286, 287, somewhere in that neighborhood. Base hit.
6th 3-hit game of the season. Paul Mahler looks like he's going to go to a lefty now. So Ishikawa due up against now the lefty. 2 on and 1 out. See if the Pirates can score against the left-hander.
There it is, Francisco Liriano over or against Irvin Santana. Santana will be making just his 5th start of the year.
Coming back from the suspension for PED use. They're best friends. Liriano, the former Minnesota Twin, and now
Santana, 11 years in the league, well over 100 wins.
Each has thrown a no-hitter.
A good matchup.
Now Dunsing will face pinch hitter Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez bats for Ishikawa, and of course will stay in to play first. Ball 1 on the pinch hitter, Sean Rodriguez. He's 0 for 8 off the bench this season. Two on, 1 out. Batting for Ishikawa.
One of the interesting things about being a pinch hitter, you sit there the entire game, you're watching things, and then the one time you get to get into action, it is a very crucial point. That happens so often to where, okay, now if I succeed and I get ahead, I could be the hero. that's the life of the pinch hitter. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's, scores. You're down by 4, up by 4, something like that. But I guess the thing that you have to do is you have to battle that getting too hyped up for the at bat just because it is so important. And you know that you're probably not getting everything. The whole night's going into that one at bat for you. Or the other guys, they've been up 3 or 4 times already.
Dunsing strikes out Sean Rodriguez. As you see, Starling Marte obviously is not available.
And the ball a little bit off the plate away, not by much, just enough. Sean just couldn't be quite patient enough that at bat. And I think that is a little bit about what we were just talking about. That over anxious is coming off the bench.
Decker is going to bat against the lefty. Lefties actually hit better against Dunsing this season than do right-handed hitters. A little bit surprised. I guess Marte is not even able to play decoy. Come out on deck with the right-hander Trevor May up. Must be worse than we had heard just before the game. A little bout with a stomach ailment. Hopefully the night's rest will have him available tomorrow. So Decker faces the lefty Dunsing. Tony Watson to be coming on in the bottom of the 8th. See if Decker can find a way to get Alvarez home. Decker 0 for 2 plus a sacrifice. Look out, Rick Sofield goes down. He takes a deep breath. Former first-round pick of the Minnesota Twins back in 1975, Rick Sofield. One and 2. Not even. Lefties hit .289 against Dunsing this season. Right-handed batters .208. Two and 2. And a full count. Jeff Decker.
He's going to walk bases loaded. He's going to throw another off-speed pitch, you would think. He's going to try and get him the chase in this situation with the go-ahead run at second.
He does walk him and loads the bases.
Get that ball anywhere close.
So important now for Polanco to be patient after watching Decker draw the walk.
Hey, even on the previous at bat, I'm not sure he threw a ball even in the strike zone.
To Rodriguez.
Yeah. So with all the pitches he's thrown so far, 11, how many have actually hit the strike zone? Maybe 1?
Well, here we go. A guy who has lined out 3 times Gregory Polanco struck out his last time up. He takes ball one. Bases loaded with buccos. Tie game in the 8th. And out of play. Polanco 27 runs batted in. Hitting just 167 against left-handed pitching. Strike.
That was a big pitch to get called a strike. It kind of changes this bat a little bit.
Alvarez at third.
And now Polanco has to kind of expand his strike zone a little bit.
Cervelli and Decker, the runners at second and first. Checks up and in.
Yeah, this is kind of what I mean by expanding the strike zone. He had to start the bat forward just in case that was a breaking ball. He couldn't afford to take another breaking ball in there. Makes it a little more difficult to get to that 2-strike count.
Fouls that one back.
You can see he's trying to wait as long as he can. Doesn't want to get caught chasing that breaking ball.
Still 2-2.
If he throws the breaking ball for a strike, I think Polanco is going to hit it hard.
Toward right field, Hunter back, and this is going to be off the wall. Gregory Polanco into second base. Here comes the third run. Decker will score. Polanco to third. What a hit! Off the wall and right. El Cafe gives the Buccos the 6-3 lead in the 8th.
Yeah, he hit it hard. He was a little late on the fastballs for a reason, because he wanted to be right on time with the breaking ball.
Pitch by pitch here, Bob.
Well, watch this next pitch right here, a breaking ball that catches the corner. That's put him a little defensive. Now you're going to see him be late on a fastball because he's defensive. You see the check swing, late on a fastball, looking for that breaking ball. He's worried about that breaking ball again. And then he gets it, and he is right on time with the head of the bat, drives it off the wall.
Now Neil Walker. Wow. Bases loaded.
See, that
3-run double.
That is kind of one of the things about pitching and reading the bat. And he wasn't doing it. Not Polanco. But you have to know where that hitter is on your fastball. And you would think that Dunson could have saw that, okay, he really is super defensive on my fastball, waiting for a break ball. So if I throw one, it's got to be away. It's got to be out there that he's going to chase.
Ground ball, base hit to right for Walker. That finishes up a fabulous 8th inning. Gives the Pirates a 7-3 lead. Walker scores Polanco.
The spot. This ball is way outside. How did Walker even reach that?
Right through the hole, scoring Polanco a 4-run 8th. Paul Molitor will make another pitching change. The Bucks on top by 4. What a game he's had. Of the 5 at-bats, 4 line drives. The first 3 were caught. This one was not.
And what a nice job of approaching the 2-strike pitches. Once he fell behind, he kind of gave up on the fastball, got defensive on that so that he wouldn't be out in front if he got a breaking pitch. Wouldn't look bad with one of those off-balance swings for strike 3. And he finally got the breaking ball and just dropped the head of the bat right down to it.
Gregory Polanco.
It's so fun to watch the young guys when they come through in a big situation like that. Confidence just
right now. It's through the roof for this guy.
Oh yeah.
Andrew McCutchen with a fly ball to right. Hunter will make the catch. The Pirates scored 2 against Casey Bean. A couple of more against Dunsing and lead it 7-3. Going to the bottom of the 8th inning. Gregory Polanco fan is
happy.
Wearing that proud, huh?
Yes, he is.
Gregory Polanco also quite happy. Delivery, and look at this, what he has done since the 1st of July.
On the off-speed pitches, which is what he just hit off the wall. Really a great improvement. He said the other day on a radio pregame interview, talking about the 2-strike approach against lefties, that he really has to wait and let the fastballs travel deeper before he commits to the swing. And that really, you can see by those numbers, has started to pay off a great deal against the off-speed pitches, whether the change-ups, curveballs, whatever they are. Not being afraid to let that fastball travel a little bit, get deeper into the strike zone, actually get over the top of the plate. Guys that are afraid to let that fastball travel in on them, they don't want to get jammed, they don't want the ball to get thrown by them. That's when they look really bad on the slow stuff.
And on the fast stuff, you were talking earlier about Sano's weakness, and Watson exploited that.
Yeah, upstairs, he's only had 60 at-bats coming into this ball game, but everything upstairs to Sano has been an out. So was that one.
Sean Rodriguez at first. Tony Watson looks for 2 more outs here in the 8th. He has been brilliant all year.
What do you think, Greg? Best inning man in the business?
I find it hard to believe there's a better 1-2 punch 8th, 9th than what the Pirates have at Watson and Melanson. Watson from the left side, Melanson the righty closer. Soft single to right for Plouffe. They'll bring up Eddie Rosario as Plouffe has his second hit of the night. Rosario tripled and scored in the fourth. Jared Hughes now the pitcher of record. Ball to strike. The Pirates can move to within 5.5 of the first place Cardinals in the National League Central, while if they hand the Twins the loss, it would be the Twins' third straight loss. It would drop them 9 back of the Royals in the American League Central. And a bouncer into left field puts runners at first and second.
Talk about an inside outing ball. That's exactly what Rosario did there. This ball all in on his hands. Just trying to fight the ball, get it off him. Deep in the kitchen. He found a hole. Avoid the strikeout. Get a ball put in play, and sometimes you get lucky and you hit it where they're not.
Now Aaron Hicks, who is a much better hitter from this right side of the plate, walked, grounded out, and tripled off the righty Morton. And there's a line drive base hit to the left. That's going to bring home a run, it would appear. Decker guns toward the plate, a strong throw. But the run Plouffe scores, and on the play Rosario to third. After a strikeout, 3 straight hits, this is the hardest hit of the 3.
The Twins trying to make things a little interesting.
How about that strong throw?
Yeah, it was a real good throw. You wonder why Hicks is on second base, though.
Yeah.
He had to just already decided that as far as he was going to go and shut things down. I'm thinking that Rosario was not going to go to third. So because of that, the reason that's important is the Pirates would love to, I think, well, maybe not love, but they would definitely trade another run here for double play ball. Oh, yeah, they would. I take that back. They would love.
Strike Suzuki. That reaction obviously does not agree. Suzuki hit a double play ball in the second, but wasn't fielded cleanly by Ramos Ramirez, so the Pirates just got 1 out. In his 4th inning at bat, he sent Polanco back to the wall and lines this down the line and left. Rosario scoring. Aaron Hicks is going to be waved home on the double, and just like that, it is 7-6. Suzuki, 3 strong at bats.
Have we ever seen Watson get hit like this?
It's been a while.
You know, we've seen him occasionally give up a long ball maybe or something, but not multiple hits.
We never see Ray Searage have to make a trip to the mound with Watson.
Hicks, it didn't matter that he didn't go to second base. It was 4th and first.
Andy Santana going to pinch run. Last time Watson gave up as many as 3 runs in a ball game was his first outing of the season, April the 6th in Cincinnati. In fact, that's the last time he's given up more than one earned run in any outing. Santana pinch running, and it's a one-run ball game. Well, the first two hits were little flares. Plouffe the flare to right, and the little weak ground ball by Rosario, but Hicks lined it into left, and Suzuki lines it into left.
4 hits in a row is just it's shocking to see that happen to Watson. Even a couple of them were soft.
Left center field, Becker and McCutchen, and that ball bounces over the wall. Double to tie the game at 7.
Oh, goodness. If you would have told me before, I wouldn't have believed it. Well, there was a whole bunch of people who were heading for the exits when the Pirates got done hitting.
7-7 game, and Tony Watson will be lifted after striking out Miguel Sano easily to start this inning. Consecutive singles by Plouffe, Rosario, and Hicks. Back-to-back doubles by Suzuki and Eduardo Escobar. 7-7 in the 8th. Had gotten a couple outs, and then Dozier, the home run off Mark Melancon in Cincinnati. Tony Watson gives up a career-high tying 4 runs in an outing.
Last time we saw Melancon come in the middle of an inning. This is a highly unusual situation for Mark to be in.
Back on July the 2nd, he came on to relieve Vance Worley against the Tigers in the 9th inning to get the final out of an 8-4 ball game. But here he's going to be asked to go more than just 2/3 of an inning. He's going to try and get these 2 outs and then pitch the 9th. Here is Dozier against Melancon again, and grounded right to the second baseman Walker. And it quiets things down.
Melancon Johnson is. I can't quite make that out. I'm trying to look at his inherited runners, but my old eyes won't. Can't see it. Seven of 8. I couldn't tell if that was an 8 or a 0.
So 2 outs for Torrey Hunter. And a fly ball to right. Polanco back. That's good stuff from Mark Melancon there. Just a couple of quick pitches, so he'll be okay for the ninth. And now the Pirates need to get back to the bats. 7-all. Family's journey from Cuba to America. And Garrett Cole prevails against the cream of the crop, and much more inside Pirates baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports. UPMC scoreboard 7-7 ball game. Tony Watson, just one of those nights. Doesn't happen very often, that's for sure. The 4 runs, career high tying 4 runs. Eric Fryer, one-time Pirate, now behind the plate. And the closer for the Twins, All-Star Glenn Perkins. A couple of blown saves recently. Ramos Ramirez looking for his first Pirates hit this go-round. Is 0 for 11 since being reacquired. Ramirez, Gong, and Alvarez. Two for 11. That was Pelfrey. Ramirez is 0 for 3 lifetime against Glenn Perkins. Is called by the catcher. And a line drive out to third.
Wallace has had a few of those already. Still looking for that first hit.
Gong 1 out of 3 and has been hit by a pitch. Saturday, Perkins gave up 4 runs to the Yankees. Got just 2 outs. Blown save. In fact, he suffered the loss. The Yankees come back 8-5 victory here at Target Field on Saturday. Got the call. There's a high fly ball to left field. Jung Ho Kang delivers with the home run off Glenn Perkins on a 1-2 pitch.
Got a breaking ball. He hit that off the second deck.
The Gong Show comes to Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Very reminiscent of the ball that Polanco hit. Got a breaking ball down. And I think because he was had a 2-strike situation, he was just right on time for the breaking ball with the head of the bat. There wasn't much doubt where this one was going. Right off, I think they hit the facing of the second deck.
Wow. An absolute bomb by Gong. He knew it. Watch this.
Oh, yeah, he knew it.
Number 6 for Gong. Distance-wise, that might be the all-timer in a Bucco uniform. Watch this thing get out of here.
Hit right there on where it says Meg Myers.
There's a line drive to right field by Pedro Alvarez off the lefty. And now Paul Molitor has had to answer recently about Glenn Perkins. Says he can, of course, stick with him, the all-star closer. But more questions will be coming. Another look at the Gong bomb. Pirates bench. Fifth home run that Perkins has allowed, and this place has gone silent.
Yeah, it's dead silent out here now. They were just rocking and rolling. This game's had
twists and turns, hasn't it?
2 big ones here in the 8th inning.
There's a drive deep to left if it stays fair, but it's a foul ball, and look where that thing lands.
Got all the way up to Goose Island.
Yeah.
What, 94 inside. Ooh. Mamma mia.
Yeah. Wow. One ball and 2 strikes on Cervelli. The Pirates now lead this one 8-7. Jung Ho Kang. That's his first homer since the 17th of July after the All-Star break in Milwaukee. Blaine Boyer starts to loosen up. Bounce toward third. Plouffe just does get Cervelli. Alvarez to second, 2 down.
Able to put that one on the money.
Cervelli's still thinking about that foul ball.
Yep. He'd see him just take a glance up there. He's still getting left.
Wow.
Get some guys. Look, they're
He's
going to
looking
talk
up
about
there.
it. Where
was it?
Yeah, that's where it was.
Like to get one more.
You can't even rest. You got to go there and start putting on the stuff.
Yeah.
Catchers. Like it, everyone's yelling, hey, hey, hey.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Hey, hey, hey.
Eight 7 Pirates. And Rodriguez with a fly ball to left for the final out. But Jung Ho Kang, it's his 6th home run of the year, and the Bucks now lead it 8-7. Tomorrow afternoon, matinee baseball. Our coverage starts at 12:30 with Pirates pregame presented by W.B. Mason on Root Sports. What a wild one here at Target Field, and that man, Jung Ho Kang, giving the Pirates the lead. After Tony Watson gave up 4 in the bottom of the 8th, Mark Melanson got the last 2 outs and now looks for the final 3 to get a W. And in essence, trying to save his game now. Ball 1. Work to be done, Joe Mauer.
That's exactly what it's like. Because it was like he didn't really do much in the 8th. Came in just a couple pitches. And it's like now, okay, now he's going to try and save. But he's saving it for himself.
Mauer couldn't believe that call.
Melanson was probably much rather get the save in this game than the win. They need those. Closers are all about the saves.
Weekly hit to the right side. Walker will come on. And there's 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Pirates were trailing 2-0 going into the 5th against Mike Pelfrey. scored on a throwing error by Trevor Plouffe. RBI ground out by Neil Walker. They took a 3-2 lead in the 6th on an RBI single by Travis Ishikawa. Miguel Sano at the plate. Takes ball 1. Sano led off the 6th inning against Charlie Morton with a walk, and he would score on an Aaron Hicks 2-out triple that tied it at 3. Two and 0. Pirates scored 4 in the top of the 8th. Bases loaded. 3-run double by Gregory Polanco, and then Neil Walker brought home Polanco. Now it's 3-0 on Sano. Trevor Plouffe, 14 home runs on deck. Just part of this crazy game tonight. You never see Watson give up the runs that he gave up in the 8th. You don't see Melanson walk a guy, let alone on 4 pitches.
For a youngster, he was really patient, wasn't he? And knowing that one swing he might be able to tie this up, but he just waited and waited, didn't get anything to hit. And happy to take his base. Nunez in the pinch run for him.
Eduardo Nunez over at first. Ground ball. There's 1. There's 2. Raise the Jolly Roger in Minneapolis. What a win for the Buccos. What a win.
What a great win. This is just outstanding. First game of a road trip. To put up those 4 runs and then lose the lead late like that. And then to get that key big home run from Gunk. Man, just a great uplifting win for this team. What a way to start the road trip.
Wow, the Pirates come back again and again tonight and defeat the Twins, collecting 11 hits. Mark Melanson picks up the win.